Editing has been amazing, and I'm not saying this just lightly, but you guys have been super reliable. Your team is super reliable. You know, if you're going to scale content and do more, you also want to make sure that your messaging is landing and aligning, and you guys have been able to help us, you know, probably double our content whilst being able to do that.
Good. All right. Well, who are you? Tell me a little bit about your business. Tell me where you live.
Where I live, I won't give you my address, but I'll just go to me. I'm Sharelle Grant, and I am the founder of the Women's Health Movement. And we help ambitious women take control of their health, fitness, and mindset through an online coaching platform where we prioritize a holistic coaching approach, looking at all areas of health, fitness, and well-being. And I'm based in Australia.
Unreal. Perfect. Tell me a little bit about your situation before we started working together.
Yeah, so I've been in the content space for goodness, maybe how old am I now? I've been posting consistently on Instagram in particular for probably 5 or 6 years at least, and then I've been on TikTok and a few other platforms for a period of time as well. So I've been in the online coaching space for about 4 years, but I've been posting on social media for quite some time, and I naturally had built up like a little bit of a following up until this point before working with Archie as well. But getting into the content space, I had a great wingwoman, Becky, who's doing a lot of content alongside me as well. And we got to a space together where we were doing like a lot of volume of content, and we were putting out a lot of content that we're really proud of, but we felt like we had reached like a ceiling in terms of volume that we could put out, but then also like editing skills and just upskilling yourself as well in a business when like I'm not the best editor as well, and I've got no real input into that. But then also having Becky there to take some of the load as well, and she's a great editor. But before starting with Archie and his team, we were only able to put out a certain amount of content to a certain amount of quality across both of our pages. And because I've got my own personal brand and also the coaching brand as well, I just knew that we were going to be limited in terms of the volume or output that a business needs to have to be able to set you apart in the online world. So beforehand, we were really capped in terms of time and availability, whereas now we've just been able to offload a little bit more, especially around testimonials and promotional content, where you need a little bit more engagement. And Archie and his team have been great for that.
Unreal. So before we started working together, what negative impact did you feel like that was having on you and your team and your business?
Yeah, good question. So before starting with you guys and having some support with outsourcing more, Becky and I were actually feeling the strain of being at a place where we were capped by output. And more importantly, your business has a certain amount of volume that you need to post, but then also my personal brand did as well. And before starting with you guys, it was my personal brand that was suffering a lot more rather than the business page. And when there's only 2 of us, like we could have just done more and worked harder, but at some point you have to work smarter and not harder. And when you've got the resources there to do so, like one of the best things that you can do is invest in your personal brand as much as your business. So for me, that was about, well, how can I get some more of Becky's time back to help me with the filming in person and YouTube and stepping into some other spaces as well, whilst also not dropping back quality and quantity, which is super important. So beforehand, it was more my personal page that I was sort of just winging it. Like I had all these systems for the business and everything in place for that and just nothing for my own personal brand. And as you know, like, of course, you've got to feed that as well. So beforehand, it was more like we're robbing Peter to pay Paul. And now we've been able to put a little bit more energy back into both so that both can grow sustainably.
Awesome. So you mentioned the quality a little bit. How have you found the quality of the work that we've been able to get for you? How have you found the system working together?
Editing has been amazing, and I'm not saying this just lightly, but you guys have been super reliable. Your team is super reliable. From a business owner's perspective, like communication is also one of the most important parts when you're working with someone externally as well. And you guys obviously being available on Slack and not just communicating with me, but also Becky, and having your team like really prompt it, like that's so important, like feedback loops. So communication has been great. All the systems have been awesome. The quality of editing has been like 10 out of 10. And I know even me and Becky have both been able to learn as well, just like little bits and pieces of how you and your team of editing and sort of put that into how we are naturally doing things as well. So there's definitely been a big uptick. I think it was someone today was like, who edited this? And I was like, at Archie. So definitely a big uptick. And naturally, I think, you know, it's your craft. It's what you're good at. So that's exactly why you outsource a lot of these things.
Awesome. Wrap on that. Thank you. Real quick, sorry to interrupt your video, but if you are an online health coach or practitioner and you're looking at scaling your business using content marketing, you want to get more content out, you want that content to be at a higher quality, you want to get more clients, you want to get more cash collected, you want to do all that in less time, make sure you hit the first link in the description and book a call with us. We've helped dozens of online coaches just like the one that you're watching do all of those things. So if you want that to be you too, make sure you hit the first link in the description. Otherwise, back to the video. How did you find out about us?
Charlie. I don't actually know if you know this, but Charlie and I went to school together. Did you know that? Yeah, you did. Yeah, you knew that. We were talking about that. Yeah, so I think how did I figure out? I think I'd seen him share some of your stuff or something along the grapevine, like somewhere along the way. One, I knew he wasn't doing his edits. That's very obvious. I think some people know that. And then I think I'd spoken to his partner a couple of times as well. And they were referencing, I think like somewhere that popped up, but word of mouth, right? And naturally, I always like to invest in people that I can trust as well. And obviously I've had Charlie on the podcast and we grew up in the same town as well. Like I'm always really big on character, values, like who can I trust in this online space, because especially in the content world, you know this, there's a lot of people out there just trying to take your money. They don't care about the outcome. They don't deliver on the edits. And we've also experienced that, to be honest, where, you know, people aren't that great and they're not willing to mold into your systems. And when you've got an approach that works, it's like, hey, don't tell me like this needs to work in with what I'm doing as well, because we've got something that's working and it's going like, and it's also not just me as well. It's not about me. So I think finding someone that you trust, that you value, that has like a team in place, I think is important. Like it's not just them, like each their own, but that's for me. Like that, you know, that's speed's important for us. Like I need reliability. I don't want to have to go back 4 times to say one thing. So yeah, I think obviously you guys prove that in the trial period as well. Like that's important. I'm always willing to give good people a go, but then also you delivered on it too. So heard from Charlie, but then also, yeah, word of mouth was a big one.
So before we started together, did you have any doubts or fears?
Doubts or fears? I mean, naturally, when you start to outsource stuff, there's always that piece of maintaining your message and your brand, which I'm really big on because I worked incredibly hard to be able to build that brand and maintain like our values inside a pretty, you know, crook industry as well. So I think being able to like hand over assets to someone, like I do take that, there needs to be trust there. If I'm handing raw footage over to someone and I'm like, did I say anything bad in that? Just make sure you cut out the ends of that. But I think, yes, like in this digital world, you need to trust the person that you're giving the assets to. So for me, obviously, like, you know, in the nicest way, like being able to read you in a call and being like, oh yeah, no, I can read genuine nature and, you know, like trial and test. I think that's important, but there's no fear if you're investing in the right person. I just think, you know, no one should make like a desperate decision. It's a partnership. That's how I always view things. So I didn't have any fears because I'm very aware of what you should look out for. And I don't know if that answers your question because I know a lot of people might not be. But no, I feel like I can read a book pretty well.
Where are you at now working with us? What's been the main benefits? Basically, I already said that, but
yeah, so since obviously working with you guys, we've been able to now step into the YouTube space, which has been great. We've also been able to dial up the quality and engagement in a lot of our promotional content, like our testimonials, which I know was something that we were like struggling with because speak to camera can be quite boring if you don't have animation and edits. So just across the board, just turning up the dial. And then you guys, I've noticed, have really improved and enhanced along the way too, as well, which is always what you want to see. So being able to like raise the ceiling of what you can do, expose you to new ideas, new editing ways, and even honestly us like having to think a little bit more about planning and executing things is being great for us from a system perspective as well. But the main benefit has actually been able to do more at a better quality, which I think is always the goal. Like we've been able to start YouTube and that would not be possible if we were still doing all of our content on our own. And obviously growing my personal page as well has been like a big benefit, which getting Becky's time back has been able to do to come over to do more of the things that work well for me in that space.
Yeah. And do you feel like that's like, obviously we've been able to get more content out, you've been able to get a better quality out, but has that had a positive impact on the business overall?
Yeah, 100%. Like I'm always big in like quality is everything in your brand. It depends on what sort of brand you want to set, but like I will never put out rubbish content. Like ever. Do you know what I mean? Like low production to me is not what I want to get into. And I know that's fine for some people, but I think for me to be able to do more quality with better outcome and maintain the standard, that in itself is like, that's how you grow brand. You know, that's the measurable piece there. It's not always on like your followers or your leads, even though that's obviously been a big part of like what content does, because we are like 100% organic up until this point. We've never touched or done paid promotion in what we do. And it's because of that. You know, if you're going to scale content and do more, you also want to make sure that your messaging is landing and aligning. And you guys have been able to help us, you know, probably double our content whilst being able to do that.
Unreal. All right. Last question. What would you tell someone who is watching this right now and is unsure about working with us or working with anybody on their content marketing?
Good luck standing out in this day and age. It's really hard to grow an online business. And I think people really underestimate the power of content. Like attention is everything in this day and age. And if you're not an expert in this yourself, and to be honest, like even if you've got a few 100,000 followers at this stage, like followers is just a vanity metric in this day and age. You need to be investing in your content just like any other area of your business. And if that means getting out of your own way so that you can have support in that area and dropping the ego as well. Like there's people that are way better than you doing things in just a smarter way. And think of, well, for me, I just think about all the other areas inside my business that need me that perhaps other areas don't. And you can have the best of both if you've got the resources there. You know, it's not handing over the keys to your Instagram account. It's just getting more assets back to be able to grow and sustain what you're doing. So if in doubt, I always just think give good people a chance. You know, give them a go, let them prove themselves. And I think you'd be correct in saying that. Like you want to work with good people too, and it's a partnership as well. So if it's a fear piece holding you back, you just need to figure out what makes you feel comfortable enough to take the first step and then let the results do the handling for you.
Unreal. Any last words?
No, just thank you for all your work that you do. Like I said, you guys have really leveled up even in the short period that we've been working with you over the last couple of months. I've definitely seen the improvements in your systems and your editing, and it definitely shows in the competitive world.
If you've made it to the end of this video and you are an online health coach or practitioner and you're looking at scaling your business using content marketing, you want to get more content out, you want that content to be at a higher quality, you want to get more clients, you want to get more cash collected in less time, make sure you hit the first link in the description, book a call with us, and we can find out whether we can help you. And if you're not yet subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button. I'm coming at you with lots more value. Let's lock in. Have a nice day. Have a nice night whenever you're watching this. Farewell.